You read the title, let's get into it. First up, Ricky Simón basically got finished by Adrian Yanez in the final seconds of his fight, but somehow it ended in a draw, with one judge giving it to Simon. Navajo Sterling looks like an albino Terminator. He beat Lopez within an inch of his life, but I was too busy laughing because Dominic Cruz was in the background roasting Keith Peterson for not letting his fight with Cejudo go on the same way. He'll never let that go. Tybura vs Fortune looked like a barbecue brawl with Aljo and Peter Yan's dads, but the funniest part was after they gave Marcin Tybura the decision, he's awkwardly standing there getting booed by the crowd, and then Bruce Buffer comes back in to announce that he was wrong and reversed the decision to Tyrell Fortune. Blackest name in America, by the way, right? Lance Gibson Jr. broke Chase Hooper with an elbow that sent him stumbling like a baby giraffe, followed it up with a couple of savage head kicks and some devastating knees that crumbled Hooper, but then the ref jumped in with the most awkward stoppage ever, trying to turn the fight into a cuddle puddle. Ignacio Bahamondes was putting on a clinic against one of the scariest guys in the division, Tofiq Musayev, and even dropped him badly at the start of the second, but then the Dagestani badly cheated with one of the most egregious cage grabs of all time, stopping a suplex from Bahamondes. So then the Dagi gets on top, splits Bahamondes open with elbows, but cheats again with nasty headbutts. The ref did nothing, and blood was everywhere, leaking out of Bahamondes' face. Musayev dominated the third round by taking Bahamondes down again, and was given the decision, but this seems like the referee just destroyed a contender's career by not doing his job and enforcing the rules. But what the fuck was with this AI slop UFC promo they made, where they put Pereira in Adesanya's shorts, and nobody in production seemed to notice before they put it out? Is this the best content that Paramount can produce? To kick off the main card, Terrence McKinney came in and just bulldozed Kyle Nelson in 30 seconds by throwing a head kick that really just landed on the guard of Kyle, but Kyle Nelson fell down somehow anyway, and McKinney started raining down about 152 hammer fists, so then the ref stopped it. But then the audio started fucking up and it made Terrence McKinney's victory announcement and emotional Octagon interview about getting sober from being an alcoholic borderline unbearable to listen to. Yusri Bulgarui, who both beat and lost to Pereira in kickboxing, completely picked apart the previously undefeated Mansur Abdul Malik by keeping great range control and progressively punishing him more and more with harder and harder strikes, putting Abdul Malik down at the end of round 2 and telling him not to get up. But Abdul Malik did get up just to get put down badly again in round 3 while Belgarui walks away with the KO before telling the crowd that he'll be sparring with Pereira to get him ready for his upcoming heavyweight fight with Gane. The Seattle crowd popped super loud for Poatan, man. This guy is an international superstar. If he goes and gets that third belt, it's gonna be insane. Speaking of the Seattle crowd, the UFC finally inducted Demetrius Johnson into the UFC Hall of Fame with him in attendance because Mighty Mouse is from the area, which was nice to see, especially with all of the BS between the UFC and DJ over the years. It would have been funny if they mentioned the fact that they wanted to completely shut down the 125-pound division of the UFC that Mighty Mouse was king of and cut him because they thought that he didn't bring in enough money, or how they tried to bully him into a fight with TJ Dillashaw with pretty much no reward. But anyway, Larian Douglas had one of the absolute weirdest finishing sequences when he dropped Julian Erosa 3 or 4 times with just a jab, then finished it off with a series of hooks and uppercuts that left Erosa slumped on the ground. Michael Chiesa got his fairy tale ending when Nico Price took the surprising route of trying to grapple with him. Chiesa took Nico's back, but then Nico jumped forward to dunk Chiesa on his head. So Chiesa just choked him, got the tap, and got to celebrate his retirement fight by thanking his family in his Octagon interview before the UFC's fluff piece, "Thank you for not suing us for the Conor McGregor bus incident." Then we had one of the craziest finishes in UFC history. Maycee Barber and Alexa Grasso were figuring each other out on the feet, both in orthodox position with things starting to pick up in intensity, but then Alexa Grasso switched stance, pulled Barber in, and dropped her with a left straight. After getting dropped, Barber spun and fell on her butt, and Grasso immediately grabbed the choke, but Barber was already out, so the ref stopped the fight, but then Barber tried grappling the ref for a second before laying down with her head to one side, eyes open for multiple minutes, while Grasso calmly sits next to her corpse. Spooky finish, but the interesting thing was that Buffer announced it as a KO. Anyway, as an Adesanya fan, the main event was pretty tough to watch. Round 1 was Izzy's round. Pyfer was whiffing on punches but getting super close. Izzy was doing a lot of damage to the legs, landed a beautiful knee up the middle, and defended most takedowns until Pyfer finally got a double leg with 30 seconds left and finished the round on top. Round 2 started with Adesanya cracking Pyfer's leg and getting a big reaction. There was a slight eye poke from Adesanya, but when they came back, Pyfer kept trying to go for body locks, but Adesanya was shucking them off and looked like he was about to finish Pyfer. But then Pyfer landed a few big shots, including a right hook that seemed to have broken Izzy's nose. Izzy started to shell up, so Pyfer grabbed the body lock again, and this time wrestled Izzy down into half guard, sliced straight through to mount, and then wailed on Adesanya as he rolled from being on his back to his front, to his back to his front, before quitting and letting Herb Dean drag Pyfer off of him. Pyfer had an emotional Octagon interview about almost giving up on life a couple of weeks ago, and Adesanya said that he's not retiring but will keep fighting again and again and again and again, which I think is code for I'm just gonna fight my way the fuck out of this contract so I can go make way more money in some exhibition fights. But overall, this was the best card of the year so far. Almost every fight ended in a finish, and they all had at least one crazy moment, but these were the craziest moments of UFC Seattle, so if you like this content, please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments. See ya.